Hey there, this is Fred Basimo. I'm the host and producer of the Make Money and Have Fun show, where I'm sitting down every single week interviewing authors, speakers, coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, investors, millionaires, billionaires, you name it. We're going live every single week, and you don't want to miss an episode. And one of the ways that I'm able to put this show on is through what I use to produce this show, which is Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest and fastest way to make a podcast out there. Let me explain. First of all, Anchor is absolutely free. They don't charge you a dime for anything on Anchor. So it's absolutely free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you. Check this out. This is so cool. It's one of my favorite things about Anchor. Anchor distributes your podcast to over half a dozen different places where podcasts can be listened to. So you might be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever your podcast platform of choice is, Anchor can most likely distribute it there for you. And you can also make money from your podcast on Anchor with no minimum listenership. It's everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So if you haven't already, download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. Once again, that's Anchor.fm, or download the app right on your phone. It's absolutely free, like we mentioned before. And if you want to start podcasting, if you have something to say, if you want to get started with your podcast, if you already have a podcast, this is the best and easiest and fastest option that I would recommend to anybody. Download the Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Make Money and Have Fun show. I was just chatting with my guest backstage, and literally I have such a blast putting on these shows. And I swear, I don't know how I did it, but I swear every single guest that I bring on here is definitely better than the last one. I am super, super excited to hear from today's guest. You're going to hear a little bit about my story. I've been following this guy for I guess about 7 years now, almost 7 or 8 years. He never knew who I was. We recently connected. I'm like, dude, I got to have you on my show. So I'm excited to bring on the millionaire dad, Matt Maddix. Let's get into it.
My motto in life is make money and have fun. I'm on a mission to show everyone how to make money, yeah, and have fun. I'm all about making money and having fun.
Oh, man. So Matt Maddix, let me tell you real quick about him before I bring him on stage with me. So, oh, man, Matt Maddix, I call him the millionaire dad. He just exemplifies and embodies everything that I think anybody ever looks for in their father. I had a fantastic relationship with my father growing up, and so he really resonated with me. And before this show, I was actually looking for some kind of like a bio or some sort of great things to say about Matt. And I found this blog post that he wrote himself. And I got to read you some of this because this is absolutely amazing. So Matt wrote this on his Medium page. He said, people ask me all the time, Matt, what do you do and who are you? He's going to keep it simple. So Matt said, I am a full-time dad who's committed to becoming the greatest dad that has ever walked on earth. Let me tell you, Matt, you're pretty darn close. You might be there. His gift and calling in life is to motivate people. His name's Matt Maddix, but his full name, check this out, his full name is Matthew Motivation Maddix. Motivation is his middle name, baby, and he's the master of motivation. He focuses on 7 basic things. 7 things. He wants to motivate people to serve and give to the poor. He wants to motivate people to lose weight and get healthy. Motivate men to step up and become great dads. Motivate people to become successful. Motivate people to be effective soul winners. That sounds fun. We got to talk about that. Motivate pastors to grow their churches, and motivate people to master sales. Every day, he spends his life trying to motivate people to excel in those 7 areas, which makes him a motivation, success coach, trainer, and speaker. And Matt has just done some amazing, amazing things in his life. So please help me welcome Mr. Matt Maddix. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how you doing, man? Good to hang with you, buddy. I've been excited about this since we scheduled it. I was telling some young entrepreneurs this morning, some of my son's best friends. I spent a lot of time mentoring my son's best friends, which every dad should really pay attention to the wisdom of that. I spend just about as much time with my son's friends as I do my son because they're influential in his life. And I like to know who his inner circle is. And anyways, there's some awesome young dudes. And I was telling them today about Fred. I was like, I love this dude. First of all, when I talked to you on the phone, I think we had an hour conversation. And dude, your energy, your attitude, your mindset. And then when you were telling me about your podcast, I found it very refreshing because I'm like, okay, make money, which we all need to do, and have fun. Who talks about having fun nowadays in the hustle entrepreneur space?
Exactly.
It's all 24/7 and, hustle, which I believe in that. I believe in the grind. I believe in hard work. But I also believe that we are here on earth to have fun, to play, to enjoy life, man.
You got to have both. It's so amazing that you bring that up. A lot of people, they read it and immediately they think, oh, I'm another financial guy. I'm another, Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman. And in reality, that's the smallest piece of what I talk about. What I really am is I'm the bridge between both, right? I want to help people create alignment in their life where they can have the life that they want to live, the fun that they want to have, and still be making the money to sustain that fun because and as well as I do, we need both of them in this life. And it has been such a trip. It's been such a journey being here. But Matt, dude, I got to hear about you, man. I want to know what's your story. Tell us about Matt Maddix from, the mouth yourself. Let's hear
Matt Maddix. This is what I tell people whenever I go speak. And I taught my son this too. I'm like, Caleb, let me teach. Here's how I taught my son, Caleb Maddix. For you that may not know who he is, all you got to do is Google him. Pretty much everybody knows him by now, but here's the deal. I taught him at a young age, a couple of very, very important principles because it's all about principles. Okay. It's all about values and principles. If you base your life on values and principles, you're going to win. So I taught my son how to speak. I taught him how to speak in homeless shelters, veterans hospitals, homeless teen shelters. I took him on 54 missions trips. And from a young age 7, I was having him speak. I was having him on video. I was having him doing sales calls. When he was 11 years old, I started doing sales calls. So, we'll talk about sales because, you and I love to talk about that.
Sure.
But, here's the deal. I taught my son how to speak, and I taught him the intangibles. The skill of speaking is easy. That's just practice, okay? There are some principles you've got to follow to skill up as a speaker. Most speakers don't know the power of storytelling. But this is what I told Caleb. I was like, when people ask for your introduction or your bio, don't give it to them. Just give them your name. And I was like, because you want to get to the place where the only introduction you need is your name. So I said, hey, my name is Matt Maddix. That's what I tell people when they say, how do you want me to introduce you on stage? Just tell them, hey, it's Matt Maddix. Because within minutes, I won't need any positioning. I won't need any of that stuff. For people to love me or like me, they're going to love me the moment I grab the microphone because people are people. People can feel who's real. People can feel when someone is sincere. Let me tell you something. You can't fake people. All right. You can do a lot of things in life, but you can't fake people. And so, my background, dude, is just, I come from a place of, I was a very intense evangelist. I traveled and trained churches across America for 20 years. I was a pastor of 4 youth groups in inner cities. I've hosted and created over 110 missions trips in America. And I'm now the founder of the Jesus Mission, which is a very radical mission movement that people are just fed up with, religion. And I'm not against religion. Okay. I believe in to a degree, but people are fed up with just all the boring, God is not boring, And, you know, there are over 20 million fatherless kids in America. There are 2 million homeless teens in America. There are millions of homeless people. And I have been on a daily basis with the homeless, with fatherless kids, troubled teens. It's been my life. My life has been serving the broken, the forgotten. The one, you know, I used to have a saying that says, if you reach for the people nobody wants, God will send you the people everybody wants. So anyways, Fred, I can rant and rant. Basically, my backstory is I am all about life. I'm about love. We're here to serve. We are literally on earth to serve one another, to serve people, to experience, to create, to love, to heal. And so everything that I do, from writing books to the things I've created, from Maddix Publishing, which I'd love to talk about that, because that's not, I don't say that because I'm hoping to get a sale. I always hope to get a sale, of course. But I say it because I want to inspire some people out there that if you have a dream and you have a vision, anything really is possible. And, you know, most people are in their heads. They're not realizing that we're made in the image of God. And what God did was create. So all we're here to do is create. So create. Anyways, I love you, Fred. How you doing, man?
Dude, this is awesome. What an introduction, man. That's the whole show. All right, see you guys later. Have a good one. No, I'm just kidding.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Dude, it's so amazing. I got to tell you my story of how I found you.
Yeah.
Which, of course, was through Caleb. So when I turned 17 years old, I became a karate instructor.
Okay.
So I trained martial arts since I was 7 years old. And at 17, I'm like, I got a decade of knowledge in this field. Let me go start teaching. And one day I was at the school and I was listening to a podcast by a guy named Thomas Frank. And Thomas Frank was interviewing Brandon T. Adams, who I actually had him on my show about 3-4 months ago. And this was I was 19 years old. So this was 7 years ago. And I can't believe that's 7 years ago already. Holy crap. 7 years ago, this was when Brandon was pushing his first young entrepreneur convention, the first one. And he talked about this guy that came to speak named Caleb Maddix, you know, this 14-year-old kid that's inspiring millions and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, who is this kid? I gotta look him up. And I saw his work your face off, like, viral video on YouTube that he had at the time. And then I went down this rabbit hole. And I found both you guys, and I always ask myself the question, and it's so cool to be able to ask you this now. What kind of father did you have to be to, in a sense, create the Caleb Maddix that we know, or at least give him the roadmap to become who he is? And
Dude,
it always fascinated me.
That is one of my favorite questions. I could talk about Caleb Maddix 12 hours a day for the next year and not run out of stories or things to say. It was a 19-year journey that I'm in. 19-year, 24/7, every day of the week for 19 years.
Sure.
So, look, I was an average dad. I was a good dad, okay? I loved Caleb Maddix. His mom and I divorced when he was 4 years old. I was a pastor, very successful, famous pastor, actually. And, to tell you the truth, my friend, it was just one of those things where it rattled my world. You know, it really affected me, emotionally drained me, physically, mentally, financially, every way you could imagine, from nervous breakdowns to just confusion to losing my faith to not knowing who to trust. It really was a nightmare of a divorce, to tell you the truth. It was a nightmare because, first of all, nobody wants to go through a divorce. Second of all, to go through a divorce as a parent, you're now facing a reality that you're losing half the time with your child. And that is literally, Fred, like to realize the value of time, to realize how fast it goes. Like, dude, I had this app on my phone called Days Until. I knew how many days until Caleb's 12th birthday, 18th birthday. And I remember many times seeing, okay, there's 2,000, or there's, I don't know, 1,400 days or a couple thousand days left till he turns 18. I still got time, or whatever it was. But there was that overwhelming feeling of, man, you know what? It doesn't feel like enough time. So
Sure.
there's an old saying, rich people have money, wealthy people have time. And for me, dude, the truth is this. When Caleb was a little boy, he was so cute. He was so innocent. He was so pure, but he was a broken kid. You know, his parents divorced. So that's not easy on children at all. So look, man, the truth is this. It's hard for me not to talk about without crying because it's just my soul, dude. I lived it, man. So, dude, I had a wake-up call. I had 3 wake-up calls. I'll go through them fast. One was when Caleb was in kindergarten, and they had every kindergarten get up to speak about what they were going to become when they were older, and we had rehearsed it. And, you know, he was going to get up and say he was going to be the shortstop for the New York Yankees. How hard is that? Grab the microphone and say, I'm going to be the shortstop for the New York Yankees, and hand it off. It's that simple. Smile and say, I'm going to be the shortstop for the New York Yankees, and hand the microphone to your teacher. That's all you got to do, right? Well, every child got up with fine, except one child, and that was Caleb Maddix. He could not speak. He was so shy. He was so insecure that he teared up. He, you know, a little pouted lip. And I mean, I wanted to run on stage. Looking back, I should have, you know. Looking back, I should have said, hey, hold on, everybody. I should have run up there and said, hey, buddy, it's okay. Just tell him, man. But, you know, I was frozen in time. And so it just happened. And I realized, you know what? Matt, your child, if he grows up without confidence, this is like death. This is almost as bad as death. Children growing up insecure. Listen, the problem in our country is that we don't have humans that are emotionally whole and confident. Okay? There would be listen, all troubles would go away if we would all experience inner healing and self-love and confidence, right? So I knew that as a dad. Then I was also a very successful preacher, okay? Before there was a Facebook, they had, you know, I preached at a conference called Because of the Times. It was the biggest conference in the United Pentecostal Church. And my video went viral, a VHS tape. And because I just I was telling this church conference of 3,000 pastors that basically, hey, you know, we're kind of here to do what Jesus did. It's pretty simple. Feed the poor, you know? So we fed the homeless every Saturday night in my church. You know, we bust in hundreds of inner city kids, fatherless kids. We mentored fatherless kids every Friday night at my church. We let them stay the night with our youth pastor, Travis at the time, who's now actually a pastor in DC, who works on Caleb's team. Pretty amazing stuff. But anyways, listen to this. Here's what's cool, Fred, and then I'll let you ask a question on this or talk about your takeaway. But dude, what took for me to be a great dad, to tell you the truth, I lost my success. Okay. You got to be humble, dude, because, you know, we're living in a world right now that celebrates the wrong things. And, so when I was traveling and I had a lot of success, I was making great money. I lived in a high rise. I was very popular, very sought after. And that's a rush when you're flying out every week and you're flying first class and you land and they take you out to the best restaurants and you're stepping up, speaking to couple thousand people a week. And, you know, and everybody's standing in line to, you know, get their picture. And there's a rush to that. But every time I got on a plane, there was an ache. I didn't want to leave my son. And so, you know, at that time when he was, you know, from the age of like 4 to 8, from the divorce to 8 years old, you know, dude, I was traveling. I was blowing and going. I mean, I had my missions movement, my speaking gigs. And then one day I was getting ready to leave. Little 8-year-old Caleb Maddix grabs my leg. And just wasn't usually like this, but he's crying real tears. And he goes, Daddy, please don't go. And I was only going for 2 nights. I was like, well, Daddy's only going to go for 2 nights, buddy. I'll be back Monday. I'll pick you up from school. We're going to have so much fun, you know, trying to be positive like I always did.
Sure.
And, dude, Fred, he begged me. He begged me not to go. He literally begged me. And it was psychologically, I think, impacting him that his dad was in another place. And that's why I don't understand these dads that live in other states when they're kids. I would literally sleep out. And I would be homeless before. I would actually be homeless to see my child. And I've been homeless for 2 years to see the kind of dad I am actually caused me to end up homeless, to tell you the truth. That's how all in I was for 18 years. Radical. There's not a more radical father on earth. And I don't mean that as ego. I mean, I am the most focused dad on earth, because that also bleeds over into, I'm not only the dad of Caleb Maddix, I'm the father of 20 million fatherless kids that are forgotten about. I don't see people fighting for our fatherless kids. And, I don't mean that, but I'm talking about globally. I'm talking about like an actual answer. So, dude, long story short, I got on a plane, or before I left, Caleb handed me a note, and kids express their feelings a lot. You can have your kids draw. Drawing is good. And Caleb drew, he drew this picture, and it had an airplane, and it had a little stick figure, little boy over here, way over here. And it had a bigger stick figure boy way over here. And, dude, it affected me, dude. I cried so hard when I opened. He said, Dad, I gave you a note, and I put it in my pocket, right? And it was that picture. Well, dude, I got to the airport. I was supposed to be speaking at a conference in Tennessee, and I canceled the conference. It was, I don't know how many people are going to be there. I was out $4,000 at the time, which that was big money back then. Still is now, to then go speak for an hour,
Sure.
But the thing of it is like, I, at that moment, made a decision, and I never looked back. From age 8 to 18 was a 10-year window where Maddix stopped chasing success, and I stopped trying to feel significant as a man, because this kills this. Men are hurting out there, There's a lot of pressure on men and dads. There's a lot of pressure on men in our world. And I hurt for them, because this is why there's so much fatherlessness. Fatherlessness is the curse of America. And we got to fix it fast. So, dude, Fred, I resigned. I moved into a Sunday school room. I lost everything. My truck got repoed. I moved out of my high rise. I lived for the next 10 years. I basically lived extremely conservative so that I could be all in as a dad. And when I mean all in, when he was in school, I'd pick him up from school. Literally, when I picked him up, I'd show him, hey, look at Dad's phone, airplane mode, till he went to bed. He lived in a world of like 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., 6 hours a day with Matt Maddix, fully undivided attention. So then fast forward to the years of homeschool. That age, from age 12 to 17, he lived in a 5-year world where we traveled the world together. We spent every day together. And so, dude, I mean, I'm amazing. I can do so much. Like, I'm excited about what I'm about to create, because I finally have time. Because I've been so, like, as a dad, that, like, dude, nothing else mattered to me. Time with Caleb, memories, moments that he knows that I'm there. And then, dude, listen, I mean, how can dads not want to spend time with their kids, man? How can you not? I know dads that spend more time with their golfing buddies than their children. I'm like, how is this? That does not compute with my brain. My brain cannot even register that. So that's kind of my story, buddy.
Dude, that is amazing. Amazing story. It's so interesting. I'm always fascinated. I've had a lot of amazing people on this show. I've had John Lee Dumas on here. I've had Les Brown on here. I've had Alex Stern, Dr. Greg Reed, yourself. And I'm always fascinated by the stories of their setbacks, of their downturns, of their worst times, more so than the success. Because, everybody talks about on Instagram, it's easy to post all the good times. On Facebook, it's easy to post all the good times. It's easy to make videos on YouTube when you made your first $1 million check or whatever. But it's because of those hard times that I believe that those good times come. It's because we sacrificed in order to succeed that all of this actually made sense. It's for me, it's the way that Make Money and Have Fun was born. Make Money and Have Fun was literally born on this Post-it note right here.
Wow, show that one. Show my Instagram live. That's cool.
Yeah.
See,
right
guys.
On Post-it note.
Wow.
That's it. I went to, you'll love this story, Matt. I started off as a real estate investor at 22 years old. And I thought real estate investing was my thing. I'm like, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read all these books. I finally figured it out. I'm like, oh, I just got to invest in real estate. I'll be set for life. And I started investing in real estate at 23 years old, bought a couple of properties, and very quickly ended up in underwater in a lot of debt and in basically financial trouble. I found myself with $57 in my bank account and to my name. And I was like,
I've been there.
Yeah, what am I going to do? Right. And I realized I had two choices at that point. I could sit here and whine and cry about how bad my life is, or I could get off my ass and do something about it. Right. And so I decided to do something about it. And, it took me a couple of months to actually get back on my feet. And when I did, I was like, all right, I'm back. I'm just going to start buying real estate again. And I don't know if I developed a phobia or whatever, but for whatever reason, I didn't feel fulfilled from real estate. I'm like, the money's great. It's a cool business model, but it's not lighting me up. It doesn't elate me. It doesn't, make me feel good. And I said, where do I feel good? I feel good, Matt, on stage in front of cameras, doing stuff like this. This is my glory right here.
It shows in your glow, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I went to, so I'm trying to figure out what the heck am I going to do for the rest of my life. And I go to this seminar, right? They always talk about invest in yourself. And I've invested more in myself than anything else on this planet so far in the 26 years that I've been here. And I went to this seminar, and it was funny. It was a free seminar that I attended. And there was about 12 of us in the room, and we all had a chance to speak for about 30 minutes. And I spoke about book writing. A couple other people spoke. One guy gets up, and he puts Post-it notes in front of every attendee in this thing. And this is literally his whole keynote, 30-minute time slot. He gets up, he grabs the microphone, he goes, here's what I want you to do. On that Post-it note, in 4 words or less, I want you to write down who you are and what you do. Mic drop, went back to his seat. And we spent the next 25 minutes just working on the Post-it note. And for me, the first 2 words that came up were make money, because I was steeped in financial literacy and investment knowledge and in all of these things that I learned for the better part of a decade. But I'm like, that's not enough. There's already 1,000,001 financial gurus out there, and people need more than this, because I already chased the money. I already did the real estate thing, and it didn't fill me up. And it took me a while, but I finally came up with the other 2 words, which were have fun. And then the craziest thing happened, Matt. I posted it on Facebook. I said something like, hey, just Fred Pacimo here coming to you live from this seminar, making money and having fun. And it got a bunch of engagement. And I'm like, that's weird. About 2-3 days later, I did the same thing, put another post up, got a bunch of engagement, did it again a 3rd time. Now, by this point, not only are these posts getting engagement, but people are associating me as the make money and have fun. Like,
yeah, you're building a great brand.
Yeah. And so this was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I'm like, look, I want to start associating with bigger people. I want to have Matt Maddix in my life. I want to meet Caleb. I want to meet, Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, all these people that I've looked up to. And so I started with Greg Reed, Dr. Greg Reed. I scheduled a call with him. He was a friend of a friend of mine's at the time. And I scheduled a call with him. And I said, Greg, look, here's what I want to do. I want to get out of the real estate thing and move more into the author, speaker, coach, consultant world like you do. And he goes, all right, you need a hook. So we're sitting there for like 20 minutes throwing paint at the wall with these hooks. And I go, hey, Greg, what do you think about make money and have fun? And as soon as I said that, his eyes just lit up. And he's like, dude, go buy the domain right now. And I bought it, and I changed the title of my next book that's coming out to make money and have fun. I started the show. And since then, it's just been all in on this idea of financial fulfillment, make money and have fun, and helping other people create full alignment.
Thank you for doing that, Fred. Seriously, because that's we need more of that. We need more people stepping up and bringing, because we just went through a global awakening. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we just lived through the biggest awakening probably since the birth of Christ. Okay. And people are ready. So this kind of stuff that you're doing, because people, when you go through what we all just went through, we are now marketing and selling and serving a world we've never seen, because people have when you go through the valley and you go through hell and you face pressure and you feel like you've been deceived and you feel like you know your freedom's been taken away, and all these people have been masked up for almost 2 years now. My God, over a year, you know. And the list could go on and on, but the things like what you're doing, make money and have fun, versus the people that are constantly with the message of hustle 24/7, the people like you are going to rise to the top, because people are people. They want something real. They want something refreshing. And let's get real. I don't care who you are. The people that work 24/7, it's usually because they are broken inside, and they're not truly whole. They're not truly secure.
They feel like they have to.
They feel like that's the only way they get their validation. And that's sad to me. That's shallow. To me, it feels very shallow. Like, if there were aliens, I can imagine them looking down at us and just being like, wow, you guys got one time on Earth and this is how you behave. You know? That's what I would be doing if I was an alien looking down, because sometimes I don't even know if I'm human. Sometimes I'm looking at other humans out here and I'm like, I just don't know what to say, Fred. Meaning, like, we are going through an awakening and people are waking up. So good job on what you've created. And I love your story. I feel like our first call felt like a podcast, didn't it? We were like, dude, we could have turned this call into a podcast.
It was so interesting because, you know, I've been in sales for years, and I realized that, you know, my glory, my superpower is being in front of an audience, you know, and I did the whole, you know, call a list, come in the morning, here's your list of names, smile and dial, do that whole thing. And look, I was selling, you know, high ticket programs, $15,000 to $25,000, stuff like that. And it was a different sales process. And when I got on the phone with you and you know, being frank, you were selling something, I was like, I felt like I was talking to my best friend from my whole life. I'm like, this is weird. And this is different.
Say that again, if you don't mind, Fred. Can you say that again?
So I said that Matt Maddix is my second favorite person on planet. No, I'm just kidding. when I was talking to Matt, we jumped on a sales call, and he was selling me on something. And when I was speaking to him, I felt like I was talking to my best friend in the whole world. It was such a weird experience, because I've been on a lot of sales calls where I've been sold, you know, and pitched a lot of stuff, and it doesn't normally feel like that. And that's why I was like, dude, I got to do this. I'm all in. Let's make it happen.
And you did. You decisively invested. And you know what? And I appreciate you saying that, Fred. Really, I take that as a compliment to staying true to values. Meaning, I don't necessarily take it as a compliment to my greatness, even that you said that I, you know.
Sure. I
teach salespeople a different style of sales than probably what anybody else out there teaches. And this is what I taught some young salespeople this morning. I appreciate you bringing that up. I said, guys, your sales call should leave the prospect feeling like they just had coffee with their best friend. Okay. And how I do that is I put my sales calls on speaker. I don't allow myself any distractions whatsoever. I pray over my leads, you know, I really care about them. You know, I mean it. Like, this is a human being who has some dreams, who has some pain. And I'm like, I am on this call for one reason, not to sell them, so I can find their pain and figure out, does what I have solve their pain, their problem, or whatever, right? And I'm not going to go off on some sales rant right now, but the whole thing I want, in case there are people watching that are in sales, is like, no, if you show up to that call prepared and you show up all in, what I do is I put my calls on speaker and I set my phone on one of these little stands, right? So where the phone is literally, I lean in to where my ear is to the speaker, but so is my heart. And so what I'm doing is I'm literally I'm like this on every sales call. My posture, my soul is my heart. They got Maddix's heart right angled to the call and my ear. And I'm taking notes. Dude, that's why I'm a 50% closer and above. I'm really 100% closer, but I'm definitely 50% because I'm like, it's not because I'm a closer. It's because I care.
Yeah.
You want to be...
It's crazy. I run a group of affiliates, right? People who are, you know, salesmen for a group that I'm a part of. And I basically run their meetings for them. And last week I did a live sales call. I said, hey, you know, listen to what I'm saying, take notes and that kind of stuff. And at the end I asked everybody, I said, hey, did that sound authentic to you? Did that sound genuine? Did that sound like I cared? And then I asked the question, I said, does anybody know why? Because I actually do give a crap about the person on the other end of the phone. You know, that's the hardest thing, I think, when it comes to sales training, is that people get so caught up in the technique that they forget about the heart part of it and the caring part behind it, because that's really what the technique, if you will, of sales is, at least in my opinion, is this authenticity and this caring for the other person.
Fred, because here's why. Dude, we are dealing with humans that spend money every day of their life on everything. Okay. So it's no surprise to people that there's an investment. Okay. Most people understand that, hey, I'm going to be pitched something that we're pitched we're living in a world where we're all pitched subconsciously 24/7. I mean, they say the average person sees up to 5,000 advertising messages a day. Think about that. So the act of really, truly, authentically caring automatically sets you apart. And when people feel that, money's not the issue. When people really feel that, then they're like, okay, hey, usually I'm like, hey, listen, you know, we'll get to about the end of it. And I'll be like, hey, about 50 minutes in, they're like, wait a minute, you haven't even told me about your product yet. I'm like, yeah, because it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? What really matters is I understand you. You know, that's what really matters.
Exactly. Dude,
Fred, that's exciting. I can tell you're amazing at sales, dude. I mean, because you're an amazing human.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and I want to bring this up because you kind of brought this up in the first place. I've always been, I consider myself a square peg, if you will. Whereas, you know, the traditionalism of the world is at least in America, run through this ideology of living life in a very monotonous, pattern-driven way. You know, you go to school, you get a good job, a high-paying job with good benefits, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I've always been countercultural. I've always been kind of against the grain. And I think that has benefited me because I've stepped fully into that purpose. What do you, I guess my question for you would kind of be, what do you kind of attribute to you looking that other way? Like for instance, you brought up the story that you taught Caleb how to be a public speaker very young. You taught him about sales. Why those skill sets? Why not?
Well, because A, I knew this would boost his confidence. B, I also knew the future was in sales and the internet. And so as a dad, I'd never wanted him to go to college. As a dad, I thought I looked at college and I thought, well, that's the most broken system, the most laughable. I'm shocked it even still exists. I'm literally in shock.
Me too.
People still go.
Yeah.
Unless you absolutely need it.
Unless you're a straight A student, I think it doesn't make any sense at all.
Trade schools and that's it.
Yeah.
But, you know. So, first of all, it was an absolute, there was never a moment that we talked about college. There was never a moment that I said to Caleb, you need to do such and such to get into college, because I'm like, dude, by the time you're 16, you're going to be making more money than all the professors in that college put together. See, it's all about belief system. It's all about what's your vision. The Bible says without a vision, the people perish. Well, what's the opposite of that, right? If a person without a vision perishes, what happens to a person with a vision? You succeed, right? You win, you thrive, vision. And vision isn't, there's a difference between dream and vision, right? And so most people don't understand that vision is about precise clarity about your future. Well, I knew what kind of lifestyle I wanted Caleb to have at age 8. Let's go through it real quick, okay?
Sure.
Yesterday, Pierce is on here. Pierce is also on Caleb's team, and just a great young man. Talk about sales, just an authentic human who's not, nobody would hire him thinking, oh, he's going to be a killer in sales, because he's not your typical. But I told Pierce, I was like, Noah, our 2 top salespeople, I said, are the best humans. I was like, Pierce, you are going to own this. You're going to crush this. You're going to be, because you're so real. You really care about people, right? So said all that to say, dude, what got me into getting Caleb ready was, look, dude, that's our job as a parent. The Bible says, train up a child. I'm not leaving my child in the hands of a school or the government. Look, when that child came out of his mother's womb, those doctors handed it to his mom and I, okay? And when we left that hospital, that right there is the most sacred responsibility in the world. And it's like I see parents that are freaked out about, the parents. Listen, man. We just need to save the world, bro. Anyways, but yeah, so anyways, long story short on that is really, I just wanted Caleb to understand health. So I taught Caleb the power of the daily 5 in your spiritual life, your money life, your relationship life, and your mental emotional. So if you can think in 5 spiritual habits. So I gave Caleb 5 spiritual habits to do every day, 7 days a week, because I was into lifestyle. So that's why I had schedules, routines. He woke up at the same time, little things. You win in life in the little things like making your bed, hanging your clothes up. I made sure it was a rule that his room stayed organized, because, it is, I know a lot of us creatives out there, they say, creatives aren't organized. Well, that's a limiting belief. We all should be organized. Okay. There's no reason in life not to be organized. Mm-hmm. There's no reason not to know you should put little things like, Caleb, put your shoes in, your baseball bag in the same place every single time. Look at Dad's keys. This is where they go 24/7, I don't just throw them in random places. You don't just set your backpack down right there. Go put it up. And it was just like him learning, so he was ready for life. Yeah. So he mastered a daily routine. He mastered, I had him doing daily sales, daily marketing, daily study Tony Robbins. Caleb Maddix grew up studying 3 to 6 hours a day, because that was our lifestyle. Personal growth wasn't just skimming a book while you're on the toilet. For us, it was deep study. It was like I had him read .com Secrets probably 30 times. I had him watch all of Russell's videos. And there were certain social media influencers that I wouldn't let Caleb watch. Some of the big ones. I told him, no, delete his account. I don't want you watching them. And these were like some of his favorites. If I named their names, I don't want you watching them, because, I knew that he had to develop character. He had to develop, the right heart, the right spirit. And if he, who you idolize, you become. Sure. So I gave Caleb the right characters to follow. And so he had an amazing mother too, by the way. Caleb was blessed, even though we were divorced, we co-parented, which was hell on earth for probably 10 years. Sure. But we made it, and I could teach on that for 6 hours, man. But the thing of it is like, if children, their brains, right? A children's brain comes fresh. So I was intentional with my son's brain. I was intentional about his associations. I was intentional about what he watched. We didn't have Disney. I didn't let him play video games at all. We didn't have video games. I had a dad come up to me and Caleb at Funnel Hacking Live. He's like, man, can you shoot my son a video and motivate him? I know you shot at him one last year, and I want you to motivate him because he won't stop playing video games. And last year after your video, he said he would start reading books. And so Caleb is so nice. He's like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And I stopped and I said, no. I said, I'm sorry, Dad. I said, Caleb, you're not shooting that video. I looked at the dad. I said, I need to talk to you. I said, dude, Caleb Maddix, okay? I said, you're the dad. I said, do you want just motivation or do you want real change? Because real change is you go home and you take the video game and you go give it to some fatherless kid, or you go give it to a Goodwill, or you go sell it, or you throw it out. Right when you go home. Literally. None of this, I'll let you do it once a week. Parents are weak. Parents let their children parent them. And that's the problem in our society is we don't have strong parents make strong kids. Look at Caleb's life now. 19 years old, okay? He's worth $30 million. That's legit. He is now officially actually in business with Dean Graziosi. Him and Ryan are at mastermind.com right now, literally completely running Tony and Dean's marketing launch. They looked at Dean and they were like, hey, Tony's flying here in 2 weeks, and they're doing this big, massive deal. And Caleb and Ryan are literally took it over, and they're managing the entire marketing system. They're blowing it up. They were trying to get 1 million people, and they're like, no, we can get 4 million. You know, Caleb's author of 12 books. Okay, his speaking fee gets paid $25,000 to speak. I mean, that's more than some people's yearly salary, and he actually gets it. People book him all the time. You know. Sure. He's got the best mentors in the world, the cell phone numbers of literally, if I started naming names of people that actually mentor him, that love him. He's got the best friends. He's healthy. He's not out partying. Dude, as a dad, I don't got to worry about Jack. He's not out partying. Caleb Maddix is not a partier. Dude, he's still a virgin. He's 19. He's not out sleeping with a bunch of, he's just a very focused young man. He does what he does. He's up at 5 a.m. every day. This morning, he's up at 5 a.m. He was at the office by 6. Like, he's disciplined. Why? Because, nothing changed when he moved out. Because he was in a lifestyle of routine, of discipline, it was all about this. And you'll love this because it's make money, have fun. Oh, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And that's why, it's all about energy. You got to have fun, right? You got to. So, I wanted Caleb to master. That's why I made him juice twice a day. I made him eat healthy. I made him, meaning as a dad, it wasn't an option. Of course, there's a way to do it to where your kids want to do it. I don't believe in the dictatorship type parenting. I don't believe in that. I believe there's a way. I know of a way to get children to want to do stuff. Caleb wanted to juice. He wanted to wake up early. He wanted to read Tony Robbins. He didn't care about video games. Even now, Caleb gets invited to the most, if you knew the parties in Scottsdale, this is Arizona State's the #1 party school in America. And let's just talk, Fred. You're a man. I'm a man.
Yep.
These ladies are stunning, drop dead gorgeous. Scottsdale's probably got the most beautiful ladies in America, to tell you the truth. It really does. You can ask anybody.
Wow.
And there's beauty everywhere. And Caleb Maddix is Caleb Maddix. He lives in a high rise that's literally people like Alex Morton, Casey Adams. I could start going down the list. But listen, I said all that to say that, look, if you're a parent watching and you want these kind of results, meaning you don't want to have your kid to be stuck in some 4-year college after being bored for 12 years in some broken school system. No, Caleb Maddix has a skill set now. He knows how to market. He knows how to sell, which means what? He'll never have to worry about money. Okay? What better can you do as a parent than to make sure your kid's character is right, their attitude is right? Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. Right? But it's all about your attitude. It's about your spirit, right? Caleb Maddix has a humble spirit. For his power, dude, he could have a different girl. He's got entrepreneur friends that have 2 or 3 different girls every day. And I'm not kidding. I mean, he's got friends, probably some of them even watching this right here, that are playing girls left and right. Caleb don't do that. Him and his best friend Ryan, look, they're waiting on the one. They're focused. They know where they're going. They're not out doing any drugs. They don't, they turn down 99.9% of party offers. I'm talking pool parties and they just, dude, they're not interested in that right now. They're on a bigger mission. Do they have fun? Yes, of course they have fun, but you reach a place where all that whole high life of being on the yachts and partying, dude, that's an illusion, man. The real stuff is down with the homeless, man. Caleb is The problem with Caleb, why he doesn't go the way of most social media influencers, I hate it. Literally, my biggest pet peeve of social media influencers is they constantly talk about their success and their flash and their this and their that, and they never show them doing the mission.
Yep.
My son grew up in a lifestyle of serving, giving, business, money, health, going to church, feeding the homeless. Caleb Maddix probably has bought close to 100 bikes for fatherless kids out of his own money through his childhood. We took homeless people to ball games, steakhouses, fatherless kids out to ball games. You know, that was his world of serving. But I also took him around masters. I had amazing mentors and masters and people like Russell Brunson, you know, even, you know, and I could start naming names, but I don't want to do that because I don't do that. It's not about that, you know, It's about the principles.
Sure.
It's about the lifestyle. It's about your soul. It's about your fire. It's about your energy. It's about it's called life. You should wake up like a dolphin. Go watch dolphins swim, and that's how we should be in life. We should be the most playful, fun people. Anyways, how you doing, man?
I'm rocking and rolling. Dude, this is amazing stuff. You brought up two excellent points in there that I need to highlight and bring out. Number one is, and I don't even know if you recognize this consciously or subconsciously, but it doesn't matter either way. One of the biggest things I think is that you led by example, right? A lot of parents. So I started off as a martial arts instructor, and martial arts instructor in many ways, at least at the school that I was at, was euphemism for babysitting service. And so we met a whole gamut of different types of parents out there. Many of them didn't know how to parent, since we're on this parenting topic with you. And so they relied on us and, you know, the 45-minute classes that we had to start to craft some character qualities into their children and stuff like that. And, you know, we based our whole curriculum around not kicks and punches, but character qualities, right? The character qualities were the biggest things. And you know, we had stuff like, we had response quotes. So like I would say as an instructor, I can always do better than the class would respond. I think I can. And, you know, just like putting these belief systems in their head. And so being able to see this parenting firsthand, I mean, I don't have any kids of my own, so I can't speak from direct experience. But what I often noticed is that parents oftentimes have great intentions, but aren't the example of that intention. You know, they'd like their kid not to drink, but they fill their refrigerator up with alcohol.
Yeah.
Right? They'd like their kids not to be overweight, but they fill the cabinet up with snacks and cookies. You know, and one of the most prolific moments for me, we started doing 90-day fitness challenges in the beginning of the year at the karate school for our adult students. And one of the students came to me, brand new student, clearly overweight, and wasn't happy with himself anymore, and said, "Look, I'm really serious about making a change. What should I do?" And he came to me and he asked me this, and I said, "Here's what you do. When you go home today, you throw out everything in your house that you don't want to eat anymore and don't buy it anymore." And he actually took my advice, which I told that to a lot of students, but he was the only one that actually took my advice. And he didn't win, but I think in like 3 months, he lost like 18 pounds or something like that and was just happier, more energetic, had more vibrance to himself. And I'm like, you know, that really is the key. You know, you never put video games in the house. So why would Caleb play video games if they're not there? You know, you never put cookies in the cabinet. So why would he eat cookies if they're not there? And just doing those things where you're leading by example, you're burning the ships and you're making it happen, I think is an attribute to just amazing parenting at that point.
Thank you, Fred. I mean, it was a war, dude. Let me tell you, I'm going to be writing a book about my last couple years, or, you know, because raising Caleb Maddix, I've already got a book I've written about parenting. You know, it's called The Top 10. It's about training. The Bible says train up a child. So it's really about training your children in the 10 most important areas, right? So, but the thing of it is, dude, is that's why I created this thing called Parents with Passion. It's a high-level mastermind for parents that are serious. I don't want to work with listen, I don't work with everybody. I really don't, man. I want to help everybody, but, you know, you do have to be, when it comes to, like, time, right? Because, and just, I don't know, my point of even bringing that up is the only way to save America is to empower parents, because we're going to keep this cycle going if we don't teach our parents how to be entrepreneurs, how to be independent, how to the truth about health, the truth about our bodies, the truth about money, the truth about relationships. Most people are literally in bondage. It is modern day slavery. Most people are in slavery to the system that's been created. And so I didn't want my son to ever have to be in that. And I thank God he don't.
I got to show you something. This is the first book I wrote. I wrote this when I was 21 years old. It's called The Revolutionary Mindset. But check this out.
I want to read it.
Dude, it's phenomenal. I'll send you a copy right after this. My favorite chapter 3 in this book. I wrote this chapter, Matt, in 45 minutes because I was so fed up with what you just said. I remember I drove home from the karate school and I was so fed up, and I'm like, I need to share this with the world. And I wrote this chapter in 45 minutes, and this is the title: Slaves of the System.
Dude, I got to read that.
It's kind of hard to see, but it's called Slaves of the System. And it is literally my favorite chapter that I ever wrote in any of my books. And it's about exactly what you just said, how we are put inside of these systems that keep us in bondage. They keep us enslaved to someone else's plan and to someone else's way of living. And until we break out of that, we're always going to be slaves. It's so cool. This is amazing. I love having you on here, man.
Dude, I was just checking some of the people that were on the live. I want to read that book, Fred.
Yeah. So if you go to Amazon, type in my name on Amazon.
Yeah, I typed it in there. And anybody else watching, type in Fred. Make sure you follow him. Fred Posimo. Sounds like your last name sounds like a pizza restaurant, dude. Are you Italian?
Yeah, definitely Italian. It's
okay,
my great grandparents are from Calabria. So, wow. And you even said it right too, which is super fun. So
Italian's my favorite culture, and Irish. I'm Irish,
Okay.
But I love the Italians. I love the way they live. I love their energy. I love just their love for life, their love for food, their love for family. I think the Italians probably got it as close to the way we should be living. I think everybody should probably spend a year training the Italian culture over here in America.
That's
because awesome. They just seem to have it a little bit better than we do, in my opinion.
Maybe. So I gotta wrap up with one thing. I actually have my first ever mentor is watching this right now. So my first ever mentor is this guy named Jason Centeno, and Jason has an amazing goal, Matt. You're gonna love this. Jason's goal in life is he wants to aid in the adoption of 100 children. That's his goal in life. He has 6 kids right now. 4 or 5 of them are adopted, and he has 1 or 2 biological kids. And his whole thing is around adopting kids and adoption, and he just wants to aid. He's got 8 so far, so he's got 92 left to go in the adoption of kids. And since I started hanging out with him, I fell in love with this idea of adoption, and I'm even looking into opening up my own orphanage very soon. What are your thoughts on adoption?
Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete somebody off my Facebook and add Jason as a friend.
He's amazing. By the way, he has a show for dad entrepreneurs that you need to be on.
I'd love to be on. I'd love to talk to him too, because what I've been doing the last few years is healing, right? Because it really was, the stuff we did and created. They say you don't really understand a visionary till he's long gone, and I am a visionary, and the thing of it is, for us, it's been about the mission. We're here for the mission. So when I hear Jason share that, first of all, I'm going to start praying for him, and I want to become his friend too, because we need people like that. Jason, I don't think we all realize just how bad it is out there. I don't think we realize how many children out there. I look at the beauty of children, dude. Every child deserves love. They deserve a home that's safe, that's peaceful, that's like, the fact that a child suffers in this world is a crime. And the thing of it is, though, I will tell you, Jason, human trafficking is a huge issue right now. The number one reason we're going through what we're going through is because of the absolute disgusting deception and just sinful, corrupt, despicable human trafficking. There's 20 million children missing. And even the other day when I saw the video or something of children in cages, I'm like, whoa, this scares the sheet out of me. Because if we're living in a world with this much blessing and this much technology and this much riches, and we can do this to any child, friend, listen to me. The judgment of God is coming on this world like we've never seen it because of how we treat children and animals. It is a shame what we've done to earth. It is a shame what we've done to children. And as a dad, I believe people should be put to death that harm children. I believe that would immediately change the game. But the problem is we got politicians involved in it. We've got celebrities involved in it. We've got Hollywood actors involved in it. And we've got a major problem on our hand, my friends. And I'm telling you, though, I did have an awakening. And I saw a vision on Father's Day 2 years ago. And it had to do with human trafficking and all the missing children. And it had to do with all the fatherless kids in our world. And it had to do with our foster care system, which currently has over 440,000 plus. Currently has over, you see what's funny is my live on Instagram just got cut off. See how that works? Because I'm a truth teller. And because, we need our truth tellers to start stepping up, and because people like us are respected and people don't know what to believe anymore. People literally don't know what to believe anymore. So I'll leave you with this is like what Jason's doing, vision to get 100 kids adopted. Wow. Seriously. I mean, that's the stuff we should be celebritizing, not a basketball player, not somebody that's got 100 million followers. Right? Jason, people like Jason, because here's why. I had an angel visit me in Sedona, Arizona this summer. I was sleeping in my car. I was there hiking and praying and spending time with God. And I had a visit from an angel, dude. I don't know if you're into this or not, Fred. So you can edit this part off your video or whatever. But
I just want you to be real, Matt.
Yeah. So, but it was a real visit. It was a real visit, dude. Because and he grabbed my arm and said, "We're here to set the children free." And dude, I don't know this whole Hollywood sexting and all the over amount of pedophilia going on, and it's pissed God off. It's pissed off his angels, and it's pissed off a lot of good people out there. See, here's the thing: it's actually more good than bad. There's actually the good news is Jason, we're gonna need it. We're going to need millions of parents ready to adopt, because the children, we're going to a new world where this amount of control and tyranny and abuse to children will not continue. Do you hear me? It will not continue. The way we treat children, it will not continue. So, Jason, God bless. We need, and anybody watching that wants to get involved, and maybe you're out there praying about adopting a child, get with Jason. Jason, I would love to one day too. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm a single guy, right? So I know I'm going to be, somebody told me the other day there's a possibility I could have a baby again. I thought, man, I put so much into Caleb Maddix that I don't know if I have the time and energy to do this again, because now I got to go get all these, I'm on the Jesus mission now. So anyway, God bless, Jason. Thanks for being on. He's your first mentor, huh? What was the number one lesson he taught you?
Oh man, the number one. Wow. That's a great question. The number one lesson I think that he taught me was to genuinely care and be authentic with all the people that come into my life. Jason has an interesting level of reverence and just authenticity to him. And it's interesting. You're going to meet him. So he just sent you a little heartfelt message here. He said, "Feel free to join me on my journey to 100. Plenty of room in the car with me. And we're both in Tampa now. So let's go."
Oh, dude, Jason, we also have spent a lot of time in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's where I raised Caleb. So downtown St. Pete is a place we're at a lot. So we'll definitely be connecting. This was a God connection. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Jason, man, I've had a blast, dude, man. I know that we could do this again because there's so much we didn't even get to, man.
This is amazing stuff. Oh my God. This has been just truly inspiring, a blessing from above. We gotta tell them about the universe moment that we had today. So for those of you
that was cool.
That was so like perfect divine intervention, or I don't even know what it was. So Matt and I were scheduled to go live at 12 p.m. Eastern time today, and Matt calls me right before, and he goes, "Hey, can we push it back to 12:30? I gotta do something real quick." I go, "Yeah, no problem, Matt." And I go downstairs to reset the time, and I look at it, and I literally accidentally clicked on 12:30 instead of 12.
You had already set it up for 12:30.
Yeah, I'm like, man, the universe knows what's going on already. This is amazing.
Dude, I love that. It was totally, I got chills when you sent me that text.
It's so funny.
Yeah, that's God's timing is always perfect. This will keep you in a state of peace. Is whether you call it God or the universe, we definitely know that, to create a human body, out of a man's sperm into a lady, to live in there 9 months and to come out, dude, like that we're humans. Trees are going to outlive us, dude. I'm looking at a tree right out here that's going to outlive me. You know what I mean? So like staying in a place of that total trust that, God is leading us and his timing really is perfect. And when you surrender that, then life does become more fun, more peaceful. You relax. You don't get so uptight,
Absolutely.
So it's we had so much fun, dude. I had a blast. What would be, let's each do one last question each. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question and you ask me a question.
All right. So
best advice out there to all single entrepreneurs on how to find their dream lady. Cause I know you're with yours. So tell me the secrets, buddy.
How to find their dream lady. I would say number one, be patient. And number two, know yourself. I think that a lot of people run into struggle, stress, turmoil, anxiety, overwhelm, whatever you want to call it in this world, because they don't have enough self-awareness. They don't have enough clarity on who they are. And they're trying to figure out all of this external, this world out here, and they haven't even figured out themselves. I gave a keynote this morning. I'm part of a speaking tour, and I gave a keynote, and they told me, we want you to talk about company culture. And I said, okay, cool. And I flipped the script right away, and I talked about personal culture. Ooh. Because a culture is really someone's character in a group, right? So if you take the characters of 10 people and put them in a group, you create a culture. But when you're starting an organization, you're starting a company, you're starting whatever, you have to bring your character to the table first. And then from there, everybody else is going to match that energy. They're going to create that culture for you. So when you become in tune with yourself, that's when the people in your life start to be the right people. To answer your question directly, it's, you gotta find yourself. You gotta make yourself into the human being that you want to be. And then you'll find that dream guy, that dream girl, whatever you're looking for out there in that relationship, because you've already found yourself, and now they're going to be attracted or pulled to that.
That's gold, dude. I'll take that right there, man. I love what you said about personal culture, man.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, because culture is just an expansion of you. It's just an emulation of what you brought there. If you have a culture of whatever, of toxicity and negativity, it's because you're toxic and negative, right? If you have a culture of positivity and an uplifting spirit, it's because you're positive and uplifting, right? So it all just comes back to your own self. I mean, that's what I base everything around Make Money and Have Fun on. It's this idea of finding yourself, and when you find yourself, you found your destination. Now I'm just going to help you get there, right? And that's what the mastermind's for. It just helps you along that path.
Dude, I love it, bro. You're doing amazing things. I can't wait till we hang in person, man.
Dude, this is so cool. I messaged you today. I got to come up and help you out with this Jesus mission, man. You're hanging out with amazing people, got that amazing life going on, and the most important part is it's actually hot in Arizona, and I'm a person who loves the heat. I hate it when it snows here.
Dude, you've been here, right?
I've never been to. Actually, that's not true. I was in Arizona for 1 hour on a layover.
It'll change your life. It's the hidden gem of America. It really is. I tell people all the time. I grew up in Florida. Spent 24 years in Florida, and I love Florida. But dude, Arizona to me has the edge of anywhere in America. I've been everywhere because of the energy here and the sunshine and the mountains. Yeah. And it's a very spiritual state. And, you know, it's just, dude, we have the best weather in America, literally even better than San Diego. I know it gets hot here, but we have the best sunrises and sunsets. And the people here are just so amazing. And we're hidden away. You know, we don't have any natural disasters here. We're hidden away from everybody. We're kind of doing our own thing here while everybody else is, you know, going crazy. Arizona's just awesome. Like, you know, but anyways, it's fun. It's a good place. Come on down, dude. You'll love it. Yeah,
definitely. Absolutely. Whenever you're ready, Matt, I'm totally there. So I got to ask you.
I might do a live podcast with Russell, and I'm going to invite some very special friends. So if I end up doing that, I'll give you an invitation. Okay.
That'd be awesome. I would love that. I actually wrote out a list this year. I said the top 10 people I want to have on my podcast in 2021. You and Caleb were on there. Russell's on there, and a bunch of other people as well. So,
dude, I love that. I'm gonna get Caleb, dude. I'm gonna get him to come on, dude. He would love it. You guys would vibe.
He's ghosting me. I don't know what's going on. He messaged me. He's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So I sent him a bunch of times, hear nothing back. Then like a month later, he messaged me. I'm like, what, are you busy or something? Come on, man.
He is. It's one of those things where there's just currently not a system. He hasn't done any podcasts or no speaking. He's turned down speaking gigs, barely any social media because he's just so locked in on this stuff they've created. Yeah. But I'll put in a word for him to jump on, and I'll tell him you're an SCA too. So anyway, what's the final question of the day, Fred? How can we help people the most out there?
I always love to ask this question last to all of my guests, and that is, what is your one piece of advice, your words of wisdom, your inspiration that you would like to leave our guests with today? If you could leave them with one thing.
Well, my best advice for everyone watching is, even if you're an atheist, read the Bible. I've got atheist friends that read the Bible. Okay. Start with Proverbs. I had Caleb read a chapter a day because it was written from the wisest man that ever lived. And really do read the Gospels. Read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Read Jesus and just study it. Read it, you know. Again, and start there. Okay, that would be my best advice. And then read Think and Grow Rich once a year for sure for the rest of your life, you know. And then it would be have spiritual practices every day. Okay. There you go. You got it. Spiritual practices every day. Okay. Spiritual habits, money habits, relationship habits. And then my last piece of advice is, listen, if you really, really want happiness, become a giver. Giving really is the highest form of abundance. Giving in love, you know. So become a giver. Give of your time. Give of your energy. Give your love. Give kindness. Give encouragement. Give compliments. Give money. You know, take care of the poor. Take care of the fatherless. Take care of other humans. Be a giver. Givers are the happiest people. Givers have the best energy, and givers get money because there's a law of giving. You know, you give and it'll come back to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, meaning there's an abundance that comes to givers. So Jesus said, he that is greatest among you is your servant. So if you want success, if you want to go to the top, if you want greatness, I've been to the top in multiple industries. I know how to get to the top. I'm giving it to you right now. You serve your way there. You don't politic your way there. You don't position your way there. You don't step on people. You don't mistreat people. You don't break integrity. You don't try to make yourself be, you know, you just serve your way there, you know, and you'll get there. Trust me. And when you get there, you're going to realize the there really wasn't a there. Okay.
I love it. I love it. That is amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. I always love to tell people the definition of money, and we'll end with this today. A lot of people read Make Money and Have Fun. They immediately get triggered by that word money. And most people have the wrong definition of the word money. For me, money is simply a byproduct of value creation. So if you want to make more in your life, stop asking how you can make more money and start asking how you can create more value. Because the more value you create, the more money will come to you, and the more you'll give, the more you'll receive, and it just flows and flows and flows from there. Matt!
So we had fun, bro. This was insane.
This has been amazing, dude. This has been awesome, 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 awesome stuff. I'm so thankful. I'm so blessed that you're here. It's so cool to actually meet you virtually on this instead of just watching you through a YouTube channel. I am so blessed and humbled to have you here, man.
Fred, we will be hanging in person. I love you so much. And to everybody watching live on Fred's page, awesome meeting you. And anybody that's working with Fred, keep doing it. He's the real deal. And anybody that wants to consider working with him, do it. He's the right person. He's a winner. He cares. And he really provides. Dude, listen, even just you, since you've been in SCA and just since we've met, dude, it's been like, wow, this dude's real. I've been following you on your Instagram and your Facebook. And I even looked today at some of your past podcast stuff. And I was like, wow, good job, bro. So thank you. And anybody that watched on my Instagram or Facebook, I love you guys so much. Thank you. And share this out. Hopefully me and Fred shared some stuff that'll inspire y'all and encourage you guys and really help make you more money so you can have more time, more freedom, more love, and have more fun.
Exactly. I love it. Dude, I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much,
We'll do it again. I love you, buddy. Thank
We're
you.
definitely meeting up in person, and I'll connect you with Jason. See you, everybody. Have a good one, guys.